I am so glad to be in Santa Fe. For me, Santa Fe is like Mecca. I mean, it's like a very special, holy place because of your minimum wage. Last week, that's what brought me here in 2007, 6 years ago, the minimum wage campaign, and I know there are people here from it who are here tonight, but I was looking so much forward to coming here because last week I gave a talk at George Mason University in Virginia, and as usual in these situations, a student in the audience stood up in a Q&A and said that she had learned in her economics class that raising the minimum wage would cause widespread unemployment and economic ruin. Now, I hear this every time I speak on a campus, and I think that academic economics departments are dedicated to one proposition only, and that is teaching that the economic status quo is exactly fine, and it's perfect even for the poor. So I said to this young woman, I said, will you come with me to Santa Fe next week? Come and see for yourself. This is the highest minimum wage city of, well, I think you're only outdone by San Francisco. I'm not sure. But I think you are, it's San Francisco, Santa Fe, that's it. When I came here 6 years ago, so I have a comparison because it was 6 years ago, and I am not seeing boarded up businesses. I am not seeing a city brought to its knees by the raised minimum wage. Now, last time I came here, and right to this theater, in fact, I spoke entirely about my book, Nickel and Dimed. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I want to look back at that a little bit, and also talk about things that I have been learning from much more recent research since the economic downturn. My starting point for a lot of this, I will tell you, it's sort of the source of a lot of my motivation, is I get really, really upset whenever I hear someone speak disrespectfully about people in poverty, and maybe especially women in poverty. And I have personal reasons for that reaction. But, in the 1990s, I was hearing a lot of that kind of disrespect, especially from politicians and pundits. There's something wrong with poor people. That was a theory, and in many quarters, it still is. Poor people have low IQs. We've had Charles Murray to point that out, as well as people of color having lower IQs, he pointed out. They have character defects. They make bad lifestyle decisions. Poor women are promiscuous. They are lazy. They have too many children. They don't bother to get married. They eat too many Doritos and drink too much Mountain Dew.
Well, that was a lot of fun. And I mean, it's hard to talk about humor and these issues in the same breath, but a lot of what you do reminds me of the work of Howard Zinn, who did combine a great sense of humor while talking about very serious issues. I want to talk about, I'd like you to talk about what's happened to the Democratic Party over the decades in relation to issues of class particularly and poverty. And I'm reminded of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, no radical, but in his 1944 State of the Union address that he delivered on economic justice, he had a whole list of things that he said that America must do and guarantee, for example, the right to a useful and remunerative job, not just any job, but one that is remunerative, the right to earn enough to provide adequate food, clothing, and recreation, the right of every family to a decent home, the right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health, the right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment, and the right to a good education. He said all of these rights spell security.
He was a socialist. I mean, You know, I told you, David, I really cannot comment a lot on our elected officials or our Democratic Party. I would just point out that well, it was good to hear Obama talking recently about raising the federal minimum wage to $9 an hour, until you realize that when he was running for office, he was saying $9.50. No, you know, when he was running for re-election, he was saying $9.50 an hour.